Hey guys, Elite Legionarii here, bringing you a 2 versus 2 village siege battle for Rome Total War. As you can see, I am playing as the Julli Romans, and my ally here is Destroyerofasses, strange name. And Biscuits will be playing as Macedon. He'll be allied with Josephus, who is playing as the Greek cities. So automatically I was a little worried because I thought my allies' army wasn't very strong. A lot of Nubian cavalry, light cavalry in a siege. I did not understand the thinking. Although this is a good idea what Biscuits is doing. He's using companion cavalry, got a gold companion, some light lancers, and he's being really aggressive. And this is what I really like this. If I had been on defense, I would have done something very similar to this. And he's just going to destroy those cavalry real easily. He's just going to really start messing up my ally right off the bat, and it's going to be quite nasty. So you see a lot of chaos and destruction here. Although Biscuits, he's just starting to go for the archers. I thought he wasn't going to, but he is. But he just causes so much destruction almost instantly off the bat against this Egyptian ally of mine, and it's just shocking how much damage he does. He loses pretty much all his archers, which is a terrible thing. We absolutely must have them. His force consisted of Pharaoh's guards. I think he had 4 or 5 of those. He had 4 or 5 bowmen, and he had about 6 of those Nubian cav. And I do not know why he brought that kind of Nubian cavalry when we're up against Macedon and Greece in a defence. I do not understand his thinking. I really couldn't, but never mind. But if we look at Biscuits' force, it looks like he had 6 companion cav and 2 light lancers, so real heavy cav force. Now if we catch the rest of their forces, Biscuits got some phalanx pikemen for 6 phalanx pikemen, basically. Not many upgrades, but he's just being really aggressive with that cav.
See if his men can hold in the face of this calamity.
And he's just going to get rid of the enemy general and a lot of his cav and a good part of his archers. He really needs to protect them because we're going to need them to get around the Greek player's Spartans. So the Greek player Josephus has 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 4 Spartans with a couple of upgrades apiece. Doesn't matter with upgrades of Spartans, really, they're really good. He has a couple of Grecian archers, 3 Grecians I think, a couple of upgrades as well, and he's got some varying armoured hoplites, various amounts of armoured hoplites. I think he had about 5 of those, 4 or 5, yeah, about 5 armoured hoplites. So what I do, some of my units were glitching at the start here, so I do, unfortunately, like what was happening is someone kept running when I told them to stop, so unfortunately I lose a few men, which is a bit of a nuisance. My army consists of a couple, I think it's 2, let's see, a newly legionary cohort, which is gold attack. I have a gold Praetorian cohort, 2 gold Praetorian cohorts, and then the rest are 4 gold legionary cohorts. See, units keep running forward like this. I don't know why. It was frustrating because it was causing me to lose quite a lot of casualties, and it was kind of irritating me. The rest of my army consists of 4 units of Archer Auxilia, which are I think of gold silver, and a unit of gold regular archers, and here's the Greek general. It was useful, and 2 gold Praetorian cav.
His men know their doom approaches.
So my allies in disarray pretty much, and Biscuits just torn him to bits at the start there. It was really creative and really effective, and my ally really did have a poor choice of units with all those cavalry, especially in a siege, but particularly against pike-toting factions like these 2. So they have a good battle plan too, because basically Josephus will handle most of the defence with his really strong hoplites, and out of all the defensive factions, particularly in sieges, Greece is this is exactly what the Greeks do best. If you can deal with enemy archers, then you've got to go straight through Spartans. In a defensive siege where they can't be outflanked, it's just almost impossible to beat them. It's a good battle plan. Basically, they're going to got some junky phalanx, not junky, but some low quality phalanx pikemen which will just absorb a bit of damage, take the damage, and will inflict a little bit on any units that approach, while the Spartans just prove an impenetrable wall. So I've stuck a lot of my guys in Testudo. Now I don't usually do this, but my advantage is I wanted to stop shooting my infantry, obviously, so I don't want to do that. My advantage is that he's got Cretians, which is a good choice, but they're very tightly packed in these narrow alleyways. So I'll use my Archer Auxilia to defeat them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch my Archer Auxilia out. As you can see here, I have more problems. Units just keep running forward and running back like this. I do not know why this stuff happens, and when it does, it is so irritating. But fortunately it does stop. But when that happens, I just feel like it's just frustrating because it can really ruin your chances. So it looks like Biscuit did make some mistakes, and some of his light lances and one of his companions get routed. But I was very stressing my opponent, ally rather, that he has to protect those Pharaoh's bowmen, because we're going to need them to shoot the flanks of these Spartans, otherwise we're just never going to get through them. They have to be weakened. It just has to happen, otherwise we're not getting into them. So at this stage though, I thought, well, this fight's looking pretty bleak, just the sheer amount of damage that my allies had inflicted. And to be honest, when he started and I saw all those Nubian cavalry, I was really worried, because I just thought this is not a good build for what we've got to do here. I really didn't know what I was thinking, but it's cost him pretty badly, and Biscuits has really got off to a great start. So congrats to you, Biscuits. So anyway, excuse me, my Archer Auxilia. I brought Archer Auxilia because I knew both my opponents have access to Cretan archers. There's a good chance that they'll have them, or at least one of them will have them. So I'm going to need a long-range archer unit, and normal archers are going to take too many casualties getting themselves into range. So I brought Archer Auxilia. And I knew I didn't desperately need a lot of cavalry. I only brought 2 just for defence. So that's what they're here for, and they're sort of just mucking around with them. But now I've got my guys in range, and I'm aiming his Cretans, and my advantage is that his Cretans can't get into loose formation in this alley. So I'm going to inflict heavy casualties on them off the start. As you can see, a lot of them are getting knocked down by my Archer Auxilia. But the only risk too is that my Archer Auxilia have less ammo than the standard archer unit that back here. So I need to make sure I don't spend too much ammo, because I need to be able to shoot the Spartans in the back, because if I do that I can weaken them and then I can get through them. But I need my ally to do the same, and he has to protect his archers. He has to be shooting at the flanks of these save me to shoot the flanks of the Spartans. It's the only way we're going to be able to beat this, otherwise those Spartans' defense is going to be too strong for any of our troops infantry to breach. And I am taking casualties in a few places, but I am more or less winning this infantry duel. Not infantry duel, rather, missile duel. As you can see, a lot of these Cretans are falling, so that's good. And that's only because in this little area he can't get them into a loose formation, so they'll take heavy casualties. So here I see some Greek units trying to go after my other archers, but I'll choose my Praetorian cav to get rid of that. I stay in Testudo here, but I'm keeping my cav nearby in case Biscuits decides he's coming after me, because in Testudo my guys could be in danger. So it's going to continue on. These Cretans are getting most destroyed. As I keep saying, it's just because they can't get into the loose formation. So Archer Auxilia can be handy in sieges, but in the main battlefield they can be costly because they take away from your cavalry. But in a siege it's different. So he seems to be using flaming arrows on his armoured hoplites, which isn't ideal. I don't know why he was flaming things, and he's shooting these phalanx pikemen like this. It's just a waste of arrows. He needs to be using them on getting rid of these Cretans. I'd get rid of them quickly, and then just get and start shooting the back of these Spartans so he can help when I approach. And while I'm doing it, I'll shoot the back of this Spartan and help him, you see. But he was having a real tough time getting it to work. But these axemen come to the back of these phalanx pikemen and they rout immediately. So phalanx pikemen have got some pretty bad morale at times. They can be useful in support roles, but overall they're not that useful. But Biscuits has not built his army around his infantry. The Greek player's done that, and that's a very good strategy, because Greek infantry and siege defense is pretty damn solid. It's pretty hard to beat them. Here, see, my opponent just rushes these axemen straight in, in, like this one with chasing, and they're not going to be able to stop these armoured hoplites. They've got no shot, they're probably going to be able to touch them. As you can see, they're falling like flies. So Biscuits, what he's done though is his phalanx pikemen are just stalling force. They're not going to do a lot of damage, but they will knock a few casualties down, and that's like real fatal to us because we need all our men to take on those Spartans. So even though they're a low quality unit, and he's built his army around his cavalry, which he's using now to get rid of these archers. I really told my ally to defend the archers as best he could, and look at this, he's just going to get trashed by these companions. If it sounds like I'm being mean against my ally, I'm not. I mean, he was a nice guy, and he just took it in stride, and that was good. It's always good when you can take that in stride. But it was just his army build was not the best build for you to do, and he didn't really keep Biscuits out very well. Like this sort of thing, he's separating his guys. He needs to get them, look at his Biscuits and strike them again. He needs to keep them near his pikes, because now Biscuits going to come with his cav and he's going to ruin them. And if we lose these archers, it's really bad, because like I said, we have to use the archers to hit the flanks of those Spartans. Now we can't, because they've been completely destroyed by Biscuits got cav here, and Biscuits will just pull out. So I mean, Biscuits was just like on fire in this game. So at this stage, I've gotten rid of some of the Cretians, and I believe I was targeting this other group of Cretians. So once you get rid of all the Cretians, they can't fire back and be a nuisance, because you need to get rid of them because they can sit and destroy your archers. So the risk though is spend too much time on the Cretians and you waste too many arrows and don't have enough for the Spartans. So it's a bit of a problem there in this fight, because we've got to try and preserve arrows. And again, like I said, the Archer Auxilia don't have as many arrows as these units here. So there's a bit of a problem. But if I don't get rid of the Cretians, they'll sit and shoot me and destroy my archers anyway, and they get the same problem. I won't have anything left to get rid of those Spartans. So there's a lot of issues there, and because my ally lost his archers, I have to do all the flank shooting on the Spartans, so that makes it really complicated for me. And Biscuits has brought peasants too, and he knows how to use them. He's going to use them to stop me using my peeler when I want to use them, and he's also going to use them to shield the flanks of the Spartans too. And this is exactly what you should do, because if you just stick the peasants or a town watch or something along the backs of the Spartans, half the arrows aimed at the back of the Spartans are going to hit the peasants or the town watch, and you're going to save a lot of Spartans. And once the enemy's like that, Spartans are basically unbeatable in a defense like this, because you can't get around them, and the only way you beat them is with more upgrades, and if you get very lucky with Urban Cohort. But other than that, and sometimes Sacred Band, but even they don't have a lot of success. So I mean, Urbans are your best bet, but even they are really struggling to beat Spartans in this department. This is where Spartans will outperform. Now over here I'm using my other just standard archer to get rid of these guys. I want to try and destroy them so I don't waste infantry on them. I need to be saving as many infantry for these Spartans as possible, and this is going to be really difficult. Now Biscuits is going to, not Biscuits rather, my ally's going to attack Biscuits here. And of course Sparrow's Bone will have no trouble against his phalanx pikemen. Now, if he can do enough damage here, he can pull some of these Spartans away, which would be useful, but the loss of his arrows, his archers, has just really diminished our chances. I mean, I'm not like trying to be mean here. Biscuits was really clever with his cav there, and that would have been hard to stop. So, but what I would have done is would have kept my archers really close to my pikes, and a couple of times that he didn't do that, and that did mean that the chances of Biscuits killing them was quick. And over here, Biscuits just gets some hammer and anvils in and wipes out these guys as well. So he's got nothing really support anymore. With his archers, he's got no support, you see. So my ally's more or less destroyed, and we've hardly even touched our opponents, really. Plus, he didn't really wait for me. I told him to wait it out so we could just attack. I mean, I don't mind attacking, but when I'm kind of with a siege, I'm methodical about it, because I want to make sure I do it right. Because sieges, especially when you're attacking is a lot harder than defending. So you got to, especially when you're up against Greece. Greece is like the ultimate defensive faction in a siege, unless you get on the walls and things where they're not so good. But in a defense like this one, you've got to take it real steady, and you've got to use arrows to stop these Spartans, because otherwise you're just not going to defeat them. Because you can't, the Urbans or any of the legionary units cannot do their trick where they slip around the sides, because there's nowhere for them to get around the sides. So you have to use archers to weaken those Spartans. And at this stage I'm aiming for, I think I was aiming for these Spartans here. I'm just trying to get rid of Spartans where I can. And I wanted to send troops around to get from other angles, but I can't because Biscuits has got his cav hanging around. And of course he's going to strike these guys as well. And I mean, Biscuits was just really great with his cav in this fight. He was really, really good. And it was awesome. And I was trying to use my Praetorian cav to support, but at this stage I was ready to push it, but he's just going to push through, and I realised that if I get snagged on armoured hoplites or Spartans, I'll lose my Praetorian cav, and I can't lose them. I need as many assets as possible. So I'm trying to rid myself of this particular phalanx pikeman before I have to engage. But a lot of my Cretians are starting, not Cretians, my archer auxiliaries are starting to run out of ammo, and I'm having very little success actually getting much damage on these flanks, on these Spartans. I'm knocking one or two down, but I'm having an extremely unfortunate run of it. The angle's not ideal, and it's difficult to get a good angle on them. I really wish my ally had still had his archers at this point. And I'm trying to find ways to support my ally here, but I'm pretty sure my Praetorian cav would destroy these companions by now. They're probably pretty tired, and they're weakened, whereas my guys are pretty fresh and in full strength. But I want to try and preserve them if possible. So I mean, I'm starting to knock some Spartans out, but I mean, it's just too slow, and I'm really nearly out of arrows. So I use my early legionary cohort to attack these phalanx pikemen. Now, my early legionary cohort, my weakest infantry unit, so I'm willing to expend some Peeler on them, but I want to save the Peeler of my other units for the Spartans. But given that Spartans are relatively immune to Peeler fire, I'm pretty limited there. So I will attack this unit here. The early legionary cohort was just leftover money. I didn't quite have enough for a other legionary cohort. So I will be able to use these guys to get rid of these phalanx pikemen. I should be able to. As you can see, there's plenty of room for them to just slip around the side in the old typical Roman fashion. So over here, I wanted to try and hit some of these guys, but I was thinking getting in there, I'll probably get myself stuck between these phalanx pikemen and these Spartans, and that's just not good. So I really can't afford to lose my cavalry, and I want to support my ally, but I'm really limited. I'm not really able to. Unfortunately, a lot of my archers are running out of arrows at this stage. Most of them are out of arrows. So, and unfortunately here I made a bit of a blunder with my early legionary cohorts. I broke one of his units, that phalanx pikeman, but I didn't stop my men running after them, and they're going to get destroyed. So I unfortunately lose a valuable unit there, which was stupid of me. And I hardly inflicted any damage.
Allies are no friends of Rome. They are running from the field like cowards and turncoats.
So there's my ally completely gone, and I mean, we've hardly dented them. I mean, I've got rid of a few archers, and there's maybe just a few Spartans and armoured hoplites that got weakened, and some phalanx pikemen, but my ally really didn't get a lot of damage, and it's kind of risky. So I now have to use my Peeler to get rid of some of these phalanx pikemen, and I didn't want to have to do that. And I'm going to use my archer auxiliary to add support to the fight. I want to quickly get rid of them, because as I said, I need to save as much for the Spartans as possible. And as you can see, my archers hardly had any effect this time around, and I don't know why that was. But that's really bad. Now he's bringing up Spartans to support. And I mean, I know these Spartans only have 2 upgrades, but Spartans, even with no upgrades, are really tough to dislodge. And at this stage, I'm going to have a really hard time dealing with it, but I need to get rid of these phalanx pikemen. See that he wants to use them to just absorb Peeler, because he knows Peeler are going to need it for the Spartans, but I'm not going to let that happen. But this time I'm going to look a little more carefully, make sure I don't run into the Spartans there before I'm ready. Now at first these guys look like they're being the legionnaires, but these legionnaires are a lot better than these phalanx pikemen. so I shouldn't have too much difficulty with that. Now once I break these guys, I'll pull them out and then I'll use my peeler on these Spartans. But I have my missile units here in support. Archer Auxiliary can fight a little bit in a fight like that, so that's what I'll be aiming to achieve. So my Legionary Cohort will just destroy these Phalanx Pikemen fairly effortlessly. Legionary Cohort are one of my favourite units really. They're just a good standard, they're like typical true Roman life, real-to-life units, and I like them. They use the segmented armour, it's good. That's why I like to use them. They're not super powerful, but they're still strong, and they're quite realistic in my opinion for the most part. And they're having a pretty good amount of success there against those Phalanx Pikemen, but so they should. Phalanx Pikemen, and I mean they're okay. They're nothing too spectacular. They can be usable, but they're no match for Legionary Cohorts. These Legionary Cohorts are about equal with a Rural Pikeman unit. They're about the same. Same with the Silver Shield Pikeman. Played the game long enough, done plenty of tests, done plenty of battles with it, and I can definitely say that that's true. They're about equal there, and with the peeler it gives them an advantage. So that's a bit general strength of Legionary Cohort. So at this stage, my men start to push forward to chase them, and I'm going to pull them out at this stage because they're going to start to sort of get engaged and snag on the Spartans, which I don't want happening. So at this stage I'll probably send some of my just lower arch units here to finish off that last grouping of Phalanx Pikemen, because I need to save as many of my infantry as possible for those Spartans, because like I said, it's going to be so hard to dislodge from a defence like this. And I really wasn't looking forward to that. Unfortunately, they seem to have chased me, so I'm just going to quickly get rid of them. These Phalanx Pikemen chasing me out a bit there, so I'll get rid of them. And at this stage, let's run forward to chase them, but I don't want to engage those Spartans just yet. So now I will bring up some of my other infantry and be prepared to use my peeler now against the Spartans. So I pull these guys back, give them a bit of a rest, and bring in another unit here. And I want to try and just get as much peeler damage in. But Spartans are the one unit that peeler just does very, very little damage to them. I think I only took like one Spartan down then. I mean, like 2 full volleys I think of peeler. Is a third volley there, and I really probably only killed about 4 or 5 Spartans, so that's a lot. That's not a lot. I mean, it's useful. And here's here comes Biscuits peasants, and he's going to use peasants to screen, so if I throw peeler, they're going to hit those peasants, not Spartans. So that's a real nuisance. But what I will likely do now is I'll send my I think I send my Archer Auxiliary as standard archers to kill them. I don't want to waste my time with my infantry here fighting against that, so I'll send my Archer Auxiliary to get rid of these guys, because I know my Archer Auxiliary can kill these peasants, at least that. So they play a good role in this fight. He's going to pull them out though. He's not going to let them get destroyed this way. But basically what I'm going to do is just going to keep using my archers to keep those peasants away, and then I'll just keep bringing my guys back in to throw more peeler. And at this stage, I mean, I just have had very little effect against those Spartans at all with my peeler, but still, knocking off 5 or 6 Spartans before the main engagement is an extremely small amount, but every little kill against the Spartans will be useful. So I'm going to reorganise these 2 and send them in. I'm trying to save my Praetorian cohort towards the end a bit more, because they're not as good as Spartans, but they have a lot of upgrades. They have more upgrades than the Spartans. So they might be able to defeat them just because of their upgrades. But again, I mean, if they're out in the open field, I think they could defeat the Spartans because they've got better upgrades and they'd be able to get around them. But here they can't do that. As you can see, there's a little bit of a gap there, and I'm sure my Legionnaires will start to exploit that eventually. As you can see, that will be pushing to take it. But even if they do, this other Spartan's going to be able to intercept it. So I've got 2 units here, and I mean, I'm not having much success. Getting into these Spartans is going to be a real hard time, and this is why I so wish my opponent, my ally rather, had looked after his archers better, because then they'd be weakened by missile fire and I'd have more of a chance. But as you can see, I am getting around the corner here a wee bit, but I'll probably be only able to get a balance with the Spartans, and even if they do round far enough, these guys are going to be able to take up the slack. So I mean, good. This is really good teamwork by Biscuits and Josephus here. Josephus is doing a great job of providing the defence, while the support role from Biscuits is great. You know, peeler absorption and cavalry hunting, and it's just like really good like that. So at this stage, I did have a look. They were getting defeated, but at the moment I've got the balance even. So I did manage to wrap around a bit here. And I have knocked a few Spartans off, but the losses I'm taking are probably much more lethal. But as you see, he's pushing his guys forward now, so I really can't. I might be able to get rid of this first one, but I mean, there's still 3 more Spartans I think left after this, or 2 more Spartans after this, and there's still armoured hoplite, and armoured hoplites are no slouches either. So I'm definitely really outgunned, outpowered here really. The only thing, I mean, I know my Praetorian cohort will definitely be the armoured hoplites, and they'll probably be able to do a significant amount of damage to the Knight Spartans, but this time it's going reasonably okay because I know to get round. I've got my Archer Auxilium to add support, and I do route that remaining Phalanx Pikeman, and there's another one in here being a bit of a nuisance. But these Spartans, I've only managed to knock down about 9 men off the unit since approaching, and I'm sure I've probably lost about 15, 16, 17 men already, so it's not going my way too well here. I'm doing the best I can with this, but it's proving very difficult to actually get rid of these Spartans, and of course there's another one right there and it's starting to push forward, so I'm going to get into a bit of bother with that. But I've got some other units in reserve. I've still got another legionary cohort and my 2 Praetorian cohorts. I'm trying to keep them reserved. I want to at least tire his Spartans, so that I can do, at least be fresh when I go, and that might increase my chances. But he's now pushing forward with his other Spartan, and I think that he routes one of my Archer Auxilia, which is not so good. But there's still a little gap here. There's a tiny one. If I can get enough men to slip around that gap, it might prove useful. And I'm going to start throwing some peeler here at the Spartans. But I think Biscuit's going to be onto me, and yeah, he's onto me. He's bringing his peasants in now. So I'm going to have to take that off fire at will. And I don't really know how many men I got there. And I probably did hit some of his peasants then. So now I've got to pull them back. My Praetorian cohort's back, and I'm going to send my other guys in. If I can get enough of my guys in and cause some of his peasants to rout, I might be able to cause a bit of a morale panic and chain rout, although that does go both ways in my Archer Auxiliate routing. The peasants could be inclined to rout pretty quickly, but with Spartans supporting them like this, they'll probably hold. So if I can destroy enough peasants, I can stop them using them to screen my peeler out. But Biscuits is playing a really conservative, really well played game, and it's making this really complicated for me. But I was really enjoying myself when I was doing this. It was a great fight against smart opponents who were both friendly and well-natured, and that's just what I love. I enjoy fighting challenging opponents, but I despise it when they're real arrogant, cocky and mean about it. I do despise that. And as you can see, I think one of my legionnaires, that's not succeeded. I thought one of my legionnaires breaks, or might break soon. But I'm impressed with my legionnaires, but it's a big tall order I put on them, and probably much too much for them to do. So I throw some more peeler here, because I realise that I'm not having much success, and I do hit some of the armoured hoplites, although I think I'll probably end up getting the peasants, which was a nuisance. Even though I manually aimed at the Spartans, then I think I hit other things, which was kind of annoying. And I just really can't get around them, so I'm now sending in my Praetorian cohorts, and they are a good unit. They're nearly as good as Urbans. In my opinion, they really probably should have been Rome's strongest unit, because, being the Empress Guards and stuff, and the high quality People's Guard, high Roman people, leaders and senators and whatever else, generals and stuff, guardians and stuff, so they probably should be pretty good. They should definitely be better than Urbans, considering Urbans are not really, they were more of a, just a trained town guard in real life, but never mind. So anyway, my Praetorian cohort, well, not as good as Spartans, but with enough support they might be able to do enough damage, but there's 2 very strong Spartans there, and I still have a lot of armoured hoplites and other units there as well. So I'm coming in with small support here, but he's going to push forward with his armoured hoplites now, and a smart move, he's going to try and hold this gap here so that I can't slip around the sides of the Spartans. I still have one more Praetorian and one more Legionary. And what I decided to do is play a risky ploy here. Now I know my cavalry's going to suffer bad damage, but I might be able to cause his men to start getting defeated and get out of position and break. See they break their pikes a bit there, and now they're getting defeated. So it was a risky move with my cav there. It didn't take too many casualties, but what it did cause, it caused the Spartans to draw their swords. And by drawing the swords like that, they became a little easier to fight there at a stage, and it messed up the formation. They're not quite as well formatted now as they were before, but it did cost me a few cav. Sometimes that can work, and I was pretty desperate at this stage to find things that would work. Pretty desperate to try and get things to go my way there, but it was a pretty desperate move, and I mean it did a little bit of, as you can see, they've drawn their swords and not their pikes, but I think they've got their pikes back out, so it didn't really do that much damage, unfortunately. But I was hoping it would just basically dismantle their formation a bit, and it did for a wee while, and it did make a difference for a bit, but it was pretty limited, unfortunately. But anyway, I have my other Praetorian here, so my general's unit. I'm trying to preserve him to last, and apparently me and Biscuits got into a fight out here. I forgot to catch this, and I did destroy his guys, seeing as my guys were in bigger numbers and more fresh. And my general unit's throwing some Pila, and he's hitting these Spartans in the back, which was kind of good. I actually got quite a lot of good hits on them. I did actually get a few of them down. And I'm throwing my other Pila here, and unfortunately though, Biscuits, some of his units regroup, and that's a bit of a pain that they come in the flank like that. But I am starting to destroy these Spartans over here at last, I think. But at this stage I'm getting pretty darn desperate to stop them. But it's just too much of a tall order for my men at this stage. But although I am winning this apparently now, when I get sheer numbers down, I try my cavalry trick again to cause some more disruption, because I see that my men are actually starting to win. Instead, as I break around them, it didn't really work as well at the time. I didn't get much of a charge. I was just trying to cause as much disruption. As you can see, some of these Spartans are now starting to get defeated. But unfortunately though, these armoured hoplites are going to prove too much of a, they add too much work for my guys. And even though I'm winning at this stage, but just because of the amount of men I got down, the idea is because when I cav charge them, if the formation gets messed enough, they draw their swords. And if they draw their swords, the Romans will beat them, because Romans are better at sword fighting than the Spartans apparently in this. But the balance is pretty even, and I've done the best I can. And here I see a breach when Biscuits pulled off one of his guys. Now I'm hoping if I come around here, I might be able to slip through and cause a bit of a rout there somewhere, or I'm getting real desperate basically. I mean, it's pretty a bit of a what-if strategy, but at this stage, I basically just throw everything in now, and I am going to probably beat the Spartans here, but I'm pretty chancing it a lot here. But if I get like a nice hit here with my cav, I might be able to cause a panic, or but he's going to try and force me out, these guys. Now if I can slip through, just sort of slip through here, I'm really pulling a risky move here. I'm going to attack these armoured hoplites and just try and slip straight through the gap if I can. My Praetorian cav do an alright job of doing that, but they do get slowed down a lot. But unfortunately they've left support units, makes this much too difficult for me. And I'm trying to push in and just, I do actually cause a bit of problems for them and mess up their formation quite a bit, and I'll give my guys a good chance there, but my cav it's just way too much for my cav. I was just pulling at straws there, I was just doing whatever I could to try and make the most out of what I had, but I do manage to get a lot into a good position, and my guys are doing a pretty good job. I just can't get past these walls of pikes. There's no gaps, there's no roundabout ways to get through them, and that's just proving extremely difficult to beat this. It's almost over now, guys, and I'm sure my guys are just absolutely exhausted at this stage. Then again, I'm sure these are as well. and it's just about over though, as you can see. And I'm not willing to admit defeat. I'm not coming down easily, but my guys will start to throw the towel in. There's just way too much for them to do. And Biscuits has actually got some regroup guys charging my flank here, and that's not going to help either. But I think I more or less destroyed the Spartans, but it was just way too costly. Way too costly. I couldn't defeat the rest. Now, if my ally had saved his archers and done more damage, and perhaps, we probably could have won this. But the sheer amount of damage that I sustained is pretty damn lethal. So I'm sure my guy's about to mass rout here. It's almost over, as you see. Look at the timer. There's just not very much time left. It's almost over. But I thought I did pretty good considering the circumstances. And I mean, their armies were pretty depleted by my guys. I wish my ally had been able to achieve more, but that's just the way it goes. I mean, he was a good sport though, and he did say that he brought the wrong army and stuff, but I don't know how experienced he was in Total War. But generally in sieges, you don't want to go too cav heavy. They're pretty, the alleyways and stuff causes pathfinding problems for cav and other bits and pieces like that. You don't really want. I mean, Biscuits and this, he used it right though, because he came out. Look at the destruction Biscuits caused out here, because he came out into the open and used it like a field battle. And that was really cool. It was a really cool piece of cavalry used by Biscuits. I've got to say, I hand it to you, Biscuits. That was just a champion move. And you pretty much ripped my own ally to bits before he even had a chance to help me. I think Biscuits was the one who did the most hardcore work here, and this I thought at their team. Josephus did good though too. He knew when to use his Spartans and things as well. And as you can see, my general's basically what's holding us together. I'm not sure where he is. If he might have already died, I'm not too sure. Maybe he already died. But I gotta say that I give credit there to both of them, but particularly to you, Biscuits. That was some really sweet cavalry use, and that's definitely given me some ideas for any future sieges. I mean, I often do that with cav, but I've never really tried it with that many cav, and that was a really neat move, so I'll have to probably try that myself in future sometime. I'm going to have to steal that one off you, Biscuits, because that was a sweet move.
The Senate will weep over the needless dead.
Yeah, so yeah, apparently the Senate's going to weep over this, but a well-earned victory by Josephus and Biscuits. Really good strategy and teamwork there. As you can see, I did get the most kills though, and I had the smallest army, so I was pretty pleased with myself for that part. So only an average defeat though, so I made it difficult. And my ally did actually get 400 kills, so he did more than he looked like he did, so it was a good try for him. Just the wrong army perhaps, and a little bit hasty, but we all make mistakes, so I had 807 kills, he had 400, Josephus had 601 and 549 for Biscuits. But that cav work by Biscuits was just awesome stuff. So my Praetorian cohorts, good kills there, both of them. Legionary cohorts, pretty good really. I mean, look at these Archer Auxilia, 83, 63, 58, 89, 82 for this Legionary cohort. Praetorian cav, 31, 41, considering the kind of work I had to get them to do, that's pretty good. Legionary cohort, 45, 63 for the Roman archers. I got to say, my army came together really nicely. It was just too much of a tall order for to get through those Spartans. I did get through them, but there was just too much. Took too much from my troops' numbers, and the effort was too hard for them. But I must admit, it was a really fun siege, and it was well earned by Josephus and Biscuits. But I certainly did all my best to try and get through that, but that just proved too hard. So, but it was a really great defeat. That's one of those defeats that actually you can be pleased about, and sometimes it's really good to lose because then you learn something more from it than winning all the time. So, great game to Destroyer, Josephus and Biscuits. It was one of my favourite sieges for a while, and thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I know it was quite long, and I appreciate you watching my channel. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon next time.